Shalom, this is Levi Shore. Welcome back to Good Torah. I believe we are right on the brink of the war between the USA and Iran. Iran's going to be defeated by America. America is going to become all powerful. They're going to rule the world for 9 months, and that period is what's called Chevlei Moshiach. All right, does this sound crazy? I'm going to show you some sources in the Torah, how I'm getting to this, and I think we're very, very close to this beginning. All right, so let me see if I can share here, and I'm going to first bring up an article from Fox News. So I think this came out today, January the 28th. It is, let's see, it's the 18th of the month of Shvat. And it says 3 U.S. service members were killed and 25 others were injured in a drone attack on an outpost in northeast Jordan near the Syrian border. U.S. Central Command confirmed on Sunday. On January 28th, 3 U.S. service members were killed and 25 injured from a one-way attack, UAS, that impacted at a base in northeast Jordan near the Syrian border. As a matter of respect for the families in accordance with the DoD policy, the identities of the service members will be withheld until 24 hours after the next of kin have been notified, CENTCOM said in a statement. So this is extremely serious. Now American military people have been killed, and and Iran's just been escalating their actions. I mean, I think there's just an incredible amount of attacks on the American forces. I mean, something a little over 100 or well over 100 at this point, and a lot of attacks on Israeli troops coming from all the Iranian proxies. All right, so I'm going to bring you a couple things and show you how I'm getting to this idea. All right, so one thing is mentioned in the Zohar, and hopefully this is sharing right now. Let me see. Okay, so it says here in the Zohar, and I believe this is on Parsha Shmos. Let me see if I can get you the exact. So it's Parsha Shmos. If you want to look it up, it's on page 32a. And let me see if I can find it here. So it says in the Zohar, there's going to be 3 great wars between Yishmael, which are the Arab nations. And at this time, there's kind of a struggle for who is the power of the Arab nations in the Muslim world. And it's kind of a struggle between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And I would say after the horrible attack on Israel on the Shabbos of Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah, the October 7th attack, I'd say that Iran has catapulted himself into the dominant force in Yishmael and the Arab nations, and they have proxies in Hamas in Gaza, in Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Iranian forces themselves are overseeing what's happening in Syria. Their proxies, the Houthis in Yemen, so they've been carrying out all kinds of attacks all over the region. And they've been blocking international commerce, I think through the Red Sea. I don't know if also in the Strait of Hormuz, Persian Gulf. But it says here that Yishmael, the children of Yishmael, will cause great wars in the world, and the children of Edom. So who are the children of Edom? So Edom, the power of Edom right now, it's the Roman Empire. So the modern day version of Rome right now, the strongest part of Edom is America, the USA. And then you're talking about the powers, of Europe. You have England, France, Germany, Italy. You can just pick, Spain, all your powers of Europe, the strongest militaries in the West. And there's going to be great wars between Yishmael and Edom. So the children of Edom will gather against them and wage war against them. So we see now America under the Biden administration, they've gathered, I think originally they had 10, allies to stop the Houthis in the Red Sea, and I think 2 countries backed out, but you have the main powers in Europe involved in this. And the first war is going to be on the sea, the next one will be on dry land, and then the third will be around Jerusalem, around Jerusalem. I believe what we are, and what's been really, it's been almost like a proxy war so far, but now I think it's going to turn into a very hot war very soon, a real kinetic war. And I believe we're about to see the war on the ocean. That's because America has massive military, naval firepower there. And one of Iran's biggest strengths right now is their Navy. So I believe we're about to see that war that's about to take place on the ocean. Okay, so let me see if I can bring up the next. So I'm going to show you something interesting here from the Gemara. This is from Masechta Avodah Zarah, and it's on Beis Amud Beis, if you want to look it up in this Tosophot. So it's interesting because the Gemara asks a question, now that, Edom's the dominant power, now that Rome's the dominant power, America and the Western forces in the modern world, why is the Persian Empire still around? Because we see a pattern. When the Persian Empire defeated the first of the four empires, Babylon, Bavel, the Babylonian Empire went away. And when Greece, the third of the four empires, was defeated by Rome, the Greek Empire just was absorbed into the Roman Empire. But why is Persia? What's Paras? What's the power of Persia, of Iran, that it's here until today? Even though it was conquered by Alexander the Great, the beginning of the Greek Empire, why is the Persian Empire still strong? Why is it still around? And the Gemara goes through a whole debate in Masechta Yoma that Persia, they're the builders, because you had kings like Koresh, like Cyrus, you had kings like Darius, and they allowed the Jewish people to rebuild the second Beis Hamikdash, to rebuild the second temple. And that was a great merit in that, because they were the builders. They assisted the Jewish people in building the temple. Whereas Rome, it says, well, how, can it be that Rome could possibly defeat them? Rome is the destroyers. The Roman Empire under, Emperor, General Titus at the time, his father, Emperor Vespasian, and then eventually Titus, he became emperor, right? They destroyed the second temple. So it's interesting. So, there's a whole debate in Masechta Yuma, and it says it's Gezerah from the Melech, and it says, like, Hashem's just decreed that Edom's going to win this battle. And this may be one of the reasons here. So it's fascinating. So it says, Mashka Malchusaihu ad de'ase Moshiach. So it says that their kingdom, the Persian Empire, their kingdom is going to be drawn out into the coming of Mashiach, coming of the Messiah. And it says, V'ha de'amrinan asida paras shetipo b'yad Romi. And it says, and we have a tradition, the rabbis are teaching us, Tosophot is saying, that in the future, Paras, in this case Iran, is going to fall into the hands of Rome. And I think this is going to be in the hands of America and the Western powers. And Hainu, Samuch Labias HaMashiach. And this is going to be close to the coming of Mashiach. Kidam Rina, like we learn in Masechta Sanhedrin, and this is Daf Tzadik Ches Amud Beis, so that would be, let's see, I believe it's 98 B. So Asida Malchus Romi, Shetipshut Al Kol Haolam. And in the future, the Empire of Rome, in this case, I believe it will be the USA, America, it's going to spread out over the entire world. And it says Tisha Chodashim, for 9 months. And I believe this is what's called Chevli Mashiach. Okay, so why could Iran be defeated by America before Purim? This is very interesting. So the first Persian Gulf War, when Saddam Hussein, the dictator, the head of Iraq, he invaded Kuwait back in the 90s. And at the time, it was President George Herbert Walker Bush, and he assembled a whole group of allies from all over the world, including, I believe, Saudi Arabia. They were some fighter pilots from Saudi Arabia. But he assembled like the powerful, countries of Europe, and they defeated Saddam Hussein, and they kicked him out of Kuwait. And it's interesting. It was like the days of like Desert Storm and General Schwarzkopf, and that war ended. It ended, I believe, on Tainus Esther, the 13th of Adar, so it ended one day before Purim. Now, what's fascinating is then, how's this for history? Then George W. Bush, his son, the son of the first Bush, so when he was president, when George W. Bush was president after 9/11 in 2001, so he eventually led an American invasion, the shock and awe, and the invasion and the final defeat of Saddam Hussein. And when did that war begin? When did it begin? It began on Purim. That war actually began on the day of Purim. And Purim, of course, has the historical connection in the Megillas Esther, that Haman and Achashverosh, like they tried to destroy all the Jews. And we had this miraculous victory in the war against all the anti-Semites on Purim. And it's all happened in the days of the Persian Empire. Okay, so I think there's big things coming. I think we are very close possibly to the coming Mashiach. We'll have to keep watching what happens. But I think the more important thing is getting ready. That's going to be the real work that has to be done. Increasing our tefillah, increasing our davening with Hashem, trying to daven with more kavana, more clarity, more pouring more of our hearts out when we daven. increasing our Torah learning and improving our Torah learning. It's really concentrating on what we're learning and just simchas of Torah, the simcha of learning the Torah, and the simchas of doing the mitzvahs, and most importantly, the milah chasadim, just doing nice things for everybody. Bringing the Jewish people back together, uniting us again as one people, and just doing kindness, and just spreading kindness out there in the world. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you back again soon on Sweet and Good Torah.